Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Clinic. I'm the Fantasy Doctor. Today I'm going to be prescribing you guys all the best NBA lineups for the main slate on Draftkings and Fanduel, as well as I'll be giving you guys the best single game lineups for the Detroit Pistons versus the Denver Nuggets for the Fanduel and the Blazers versus Bucks game on Draftkings. Let's get into the video. So to start it off, I'm going to tell you guys the three most valuable players you can have on your lineups on DraftKings. So to start it off, we have Taurean Prince. Now, Taurean Prince is projected to get 28 fantasy points today. That's kind of a under projection in my opinion for him. And he's only at a 4,400 salary. And what his value comes up to is 6.4 fantasy points per 1,000 salary. That's the highest of any player projected on DraftKings today. And in his past couple games, he's had some really good games. He had every game he's played 30 plus minutes, he scored 30 plus fantasy points in his past 10-ish games. And he isn't the most consistent player, but Larry Nance is out tonight, so he should be getting an uptake in minutes. And I definitely expect him to get even in that 30 plus fantasy points range tonight. Next up, we got Enes Kanter. Enes Kanter is projected to get 44 points at a 7,200 salary. He's the second highest value pick on DraftKings tonight. He's going to get 6.2 fantasy points per 1,000 salary. And he's been showing off. He's been balling lately. He's been doing great. Everyone's seen it. He's been a big fantasy player pickup currently. And just here in his last 7 games, he's had 35 plus in all but one of those games. And he's had 40 plus in one and 50 plus in 2. So great quality minutes played from him, and he's sure to make your lineups do very well tonight. Next up, we got D'Angelo Russell. Now, just a heads up, D'Angelo Russell is listed as game time decision, but this is more like the game time decision that we see with LeBron. He's listed as game time decision every night, but he plays every night. It's going to be most likely very similar with D'Angelo Russell as well. He has been listed as a game time decision for the last 2 games, but he's played in both of those. If any chance is that he does not play, then Ricky Rubio will be getting a big uptake in minutes and will be a very high value pick. But other than that, as for now, D'Angelo Russell should still most likely play and will be a very high value pickup tonight. He's projected to get 43 fantasy points at 7,000 salary. And he's our third highest value pickup on DraftKings at 6.1 fantasy points per 1,000 salary. And although he hasn't really been having the greatest season so far, like in his past 4 games, he's had only 30 plus in one of them. But if we look past that, he has had pretty decent games throughout the season. And that's kind of the reason why he's at a lower salary point today. So very likely he will have an uptake in these fantasy points tonight. He's not facing the greatest of teams. He's facing the Cavaliers. He should have a very solid stat line tonight, and I recommend you guys pick him for your lineups today as well. Without further ado, here's the most optimal NBA main slate lineup on DraftKings you can use tonight. We got Lonzo Ball, Malik Beasley, Sterling Brown, Taurean Prince, Nikola Jokic, D'Angelo Russell, Will Barton, and Enes Kanter. Okay guys, now let's get into the FanDuel most valuable pickups today. First up, we got Will Barton. He's projected to get 27 fantasy points at a 4,000 salary, and that's a 6.9 value. At 6.9 fantasy points per 1,000, that's the highest projected value in FanDuel. Now, Will Barton, he's one of those guys that you can pick up almost every night, and there's a good chance he gives you a very good stat line in that day. He's had multiple 30-plus point games this season. He's even had a couple near 40-point games. Now the only downside to him is every once in a while he does down perform, getting in that 15 fantasy point range. But he's definitely someone you want to take a chance on. There's a good chance he does perform very well, and most likely a lot of people won't be picking him up today. So if he does do very well today, that'll be great for your lineups and great for your bag. Now another downside to him is that his coach does tend to sub out his players if they're not doing well, even for like 1 or 2 plays. I've noticed that, like even Jokic he take out if he's not performing well for a couple plays, and then he won't play him for like whole 2 quarters sometimes. A little inconsistent, but definitely worth a pickup in my opinion. Next up, we got Enes Kanter again. He's projected to get 44 fantasy points at a 7,000 salary, 6.4 fantasy points per 1,000 salary, second highest value pick for FanDuel. Again, same reasons as I said before for DraftKings, same reasons that why you need to pick up Enes Kanter. He'll be a valuable pickup tonight again, and yeah, you guys should definitely pick him up. Last but not least, we got Anfernee Simons. I hope I said that right. From the Portland Trail Blazers. He's our 3rd most valuable pickup. He's projected to have 22 fantasy points at a 3,500 salary. He's at a 6.4 value, 6.4 fantasy points per 1,000 salary. That's our 3rd highest value pick on FanDuel. And yeah, he's been getting more minutes this past couple weeks since CJ McCollum is out. And even though he hasn't really completely popped off, in his last 3 games he's had 25 plus minutes of playing time in those 3 games. He's had 20 plus in one and 30 plus in one. He has also had only 12 in one, but we're hoping that was just a down game for him. Very likely he's gonna be hovering around that 20-point mark in my opinion. Maybe he pushes that 30 mark. If he does, that'll be great. But definitely a great pickup tonight. He's been getting an uptake in minutes, uptake in usage rate. He's also been shooting a quite good amount of shots, especially for a player of his caliber. And definitely someone you want to pick up for your lineups tonight. Okay guys, so here is the best FanDuel lineup tonight. We have De'Aaron Fox, Darius Garland, D'Angelo Russell, Colin Sexton, Malik Beasley, Will Barton, Julius Randle, PJ Washington, and Enes Kanter. Okay guys, if you stuck to the video till this point, now I'm going to give you guys the 2 best single game lineups for DraftKings of the Bucks vs Blazers game and for FanDuel of the Detroit vs Nuggets game. So for the Bucks game, here's the lineup. At captain, we got Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, Enes Kanter, Carmelo Anthony, Anfernee Simons, and Harry Giles. For the Detroit vs Nuggets game, we got Nikola Jokic at the MVP, Jeremy Grant at the star, DeLon Wright at the pro, Michael Porter, and Will Barton for the 2 utility slots. Okay guys, well there you go. Those were the best lineups for today on NBA for DraftKings and FanDuel. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, please subscribe, greatly helps me out. Turn on those post notifications so you never miss the best lineups of the day, and I will see you guys next time.